For years I've been playing the same things the same way, and then recently I'm going, I want to stretch out a little bit. I want to learn something new. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a series of videos and kind of share with you my process for learning something new as an over 40, 50, all right, barely 60 bass player, learning something new. Like for years, I've thump and snap, and I've got my music store riffs that I would go into the music store and see, I even messed it up. I've got my music store riffs. I would go into the music store and play those. But I never really used it in playing. And I've seen Victor Wooten do the double thumbing. And I just think that's impossible. Started doing this. So that's kind of the first thing I started working on. I haven't really messed with that in a while, but I was just going string to string. Now I try to work and go faster. But it just took persistence and just going slow. Just like that. Just time. Just over time. And eventually I'll start working some lines in. See, I'm sloppy on that string. I've still got to work it. I'm not there yet. But I'm getting better. And that's the thing that I'm finding out. And as I work with it, I'm finding out that, over 50, 40, 50, 60, whatever, that you can learn new things. It may not come to you as easy. I've got a little bit of arthritis in my hands, and my hands don't move the way they used to. I love Jaco Pastorius, and I just did a kind of a short reaction video. I'll put a link in down below. He's my favorite player, but I've never really dug into some of his harder stuff. So I decided to sit down and learn Teen Town. It was painful, and it's still painful. As you get older, you wonder about your retention of remembering things. And I don't think it's so much of just your brain going bad. I think it's so much you've got so much life things going on with work and family, and so your brain is just crammed with this, stresses of life and all of these things. So I don't think it's so much of a cognitive issue. Is it just your brain being full? At least mine is. It may not take much to fill my brain up. I use tabs, and I would just learn, and I would use some videos, and I would just learn parts at a time. And I would just go one part at a time and just learn that. And I would just go over that part and not worry about speed, just trying to get the notes. Oh, look at that. Now go to the next part. Now I would add it. I would just go. And then I would add the next part. Then add the next part. Then go to the next part. And just getting the notes under my fingers. I would just go as slow as I needed to. When I started out, it was like this. And then I would just add a little bit more as I added each part. Once I got the parts, then I would just try to work on not really going fast to be going fast, just kind of going to the top of how I could play it. I've been working on this one for a long time. And that's the thing, just work on it. Just keep working at it. And all of a sudden you'll go, wow, I'm remembering it. And then you're going, okay, I'm playing it a little cleaner. I mean, if I look at the first day I tried to play it, I this part wasn't too bad. This part, the beginning, but this line here is taking forever, and I still stumble over it, of getting the fingering smooth, but even just remembering that part. But it happened. So you can remember the parts. It's repetition, and it's just staying with it. You just got to stay with it. And this isn't even just for somebody over 40 or 50. This is for everyone. You know, when I was younger, my discipline kind of still was horrible. You know, and that was kind of to my detriment. If I couldn't pick up something quick, I really didn't stick with it. And yet, I remember when I was learning scales and I was practicing with a metronome, that I would just practice scales for hours. And one way I would practice with my timing is I would take the metronome and I'd put it on the other side of the warehouse where I could barely hear it, and it would just be going, and I'd barely hear it, and I would just play the scale. And I would just do that, or I would do thirds. And I would do that to the metronome, to where I couldn't hear the metronome. If I didn't hear the metronome, I knew I was playing in time. And it's kind of called burying the metronome, or burying the click, is if you don't hear it, you're right on time. So I would practice that for hours, yet I didn't have the discipline to like really sit down and work out certain things. So I wish I had better discipline when I was younger. Now that I'm older, I mean, this part here, this teen town, I've been just for a couple months just chipping away at it and chipping away at it. I'm not there, and I won't be there for a long time, you know, because at 128 BPM, I'm playing at what, about 80? I don't know. And but you just got to keep chipping away at it. And it's not too old to challenge yourself. Like I said, I just turned 60 in August, and I've been trying to find ways to challenge myself as a player. I just play on Sundays at church, or, you know, as a hobby. I don't play for a living. Sometimes we watch these players that play for a living, and you know, professional guys, really great guys, like, you know, Yannick Gwizdala, and I know I mess his name up, or Jocko, or Victor Wooten, and we compare ourselves to them, and it's just silly because the percentage of people that get that great compared to all the players, they're the elite of the elite, and you just have to realize that, you know, there are a lot of people better than you, but you'll be better than a lot of other people. You just got to be happy in your own skin, and just have fun at it. I mean, that's what it is. Playing music is just fun, and this enjoyment, and it's a creative release. So don't take it too seriously, and challenge yourself. Don't ever stop challenging yourself. I've decided speaking of Yannick Gwizdala, I've decided to take on something here. I got a copy of his sight reading book. It's cool because it's one of the signed ones. I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna try to learn to sight read. I mean, it you know, I've looked through it. I haven't started working with it yet, but it really takes you from the very beginning: pitch recognition, the notes on the staff, you know, whole notes, half notes, and it's taking you from the very fundamentals, and it just continually will get more and more in depth as you go along. Key signatures, major quarter note drills, and to where you get all the way to the back here. Yeah, playing this stuff. I've decided to learn how to sight read, and this is the book I'm going to use. Is Bass Player's Guide to Sight Reading, Yannick Gwizdala. You know, kind of, I'm a weirdo about this. I actually emailed him, and I think it wasn't him that emailed back. You know, it's his people or whatever. I said, hey, I wanted their permission to use this in a video series, just out of respect for him. And I told him, I said, and you know, if I crash and burn on this sight reading thing, I said, it's not a reflection on you, and I don't want it to be. If I crash and burn on this, it's because of me, because this is really well-written book. I've looked through it, and it starts out simple, so it's just me going through it. So I'm just going to kind of do a series. I think we're going to call it kind of Old Dog, New Trick, and it's gonna document, you know, where am I going to be at in a couple of months with Teen Town. You know, where am I going to be at in a couple of months with that? Where am I going to be at in a couple of months with it? Well, I'm going to kind of show from the beginning on the sight reading and just see the road bumps I go to, banging my head against the wall, and hopefully that will kind of inspire someone else, the over 40 crowd, whatever. It's all in your head. 2, sit there and challenge yourself as a player. I'm Pastor Groove, and just remember, serve well and have fun.